Hi, my name is Bonnie and I have studied art history and museum studies for 6 years now. And I'm here making this video mainly for two reasons. One, of course, I enjoy watching TwoSetViolin's videos, and I'm really glad that they decided to talk about visual arts. That's my profession. And secondly, of course, I left a comment below. It's a really long one. I explain many things that I know about art history and the artworks two sets were talking about. So I didn't expect to get any feedbacks, but yeah, I appreciate that I got a lot of likes from you guys, and very encouraging replies, like said they found the information I applied was helpful to understand visual arts more, to understand the paintings and sculptures they were talking about. So yeah, I'm making this video to explain more, talking about my opinions on the artworks that two set was talking. And yeah, I cannot stop talking about visual arts because that's really my passion, and that's why I chose this as a profession in study. So it was the first time that I hear professional musicians like them to talk about it and comparing the paintings and sculptures to musical pieces. So yeah, I wanted to make a reaction video, but I'm not really good at that. As you can see, that I'm not a expressive kind of person to do reactions. Yeah, so I will just run this video on my side, and I will look at my comments again and elaborate more on it, on this topic they were talking about. So the first one, it pops up as a little icon when they talk about art. That was a painting called Nighthawks by Edward Hopper. It was a modern American painter, and yeah, it was very good at portraying streetscape. We call it street landscape. And I believe that he got a lot of admirers, but he was still very far from representative for visual art. But yeah, maybe some editor prefer his art, that's why they use this little icon for it. Yeah, and first they talk about Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. And if you want to be a little bit more professional, you can call them Leonardo instead of Da Vinci, because he only got a name from the place he was born. It was Piero da Vinci, so his real name was Leonardo. Just call him Leonardo. Like if you call Da Vinci, like in the place of Piero da Vinci, like the whole village could answer you. So Leonardo is just him. And yeah, Mona Lisa, or the portrait of Lisa Gerardini, the name of the lady. First of all, the size of commission paintings at the time in Italy, most of the time was decided by clients rather than the artists themselves. So it is rather small, but like a 35-55. That kind of portrait was a popular size at the time. Like I remember was maybe Botticelli did one for a member of Medici family. It was more or less the same size, like I said. And yeah, also with many other things that the artist they didn't have much liberty. Would be surprisingly, they didn't have the freedom to decide a lot of things for their task. Like a client would decide what colors they wanted to use, what kind of figures they wanted to get painted. So yeah, we would say like Renaissance, like the best golden age of art, and then the artist was more the artists were more treated like craftsmen, um, instead of the artists figures that we imagine them to be. They are more than just pure genius. They take tasks from their clients and they did what was told to do. And the music they pick, yeah, it was on the right track, like a Renaissance style. We are discussing it today. It was more tranquil, quiet, and it's still in motion. So I will also prefer music that's more quiet and slow. But I would rather pick one maybe more Italian, because yeah, Leonardo can be more Italian than that. The second one, Vincent van Gogh. Yeah, he was Dutch, like I said, but he moved to Paris for a long time. He lived there. He got very important like experiences, influences in Paris, in the art circle there. Like many international artists at the time, around the time like before World War II. You can, yeah, I didn't notice that many people would mistake him as French, but it's pretty reasonable because, yeah, like I said, many foreign immigrant artists found their place in the French art scene. And yeah, same like Van Gogh, he's Dutch, and Picasso, Spanish, Modigliani, Italian, or yeah, for me, Van Gogh is really a Dutch name. You may not think that it might be French, but maybe you see like Marc Chagall, you might think, okay, Chagall was French, but no, he was born in, at the time, it was still Russian Empire, but he moved to Paris. I just noticed that the makeup filter was on. I wasn't noticed that there's a little thing jumping up and down on my face. That's a fake eyebrow effect. And sorry about that, turn it off. Yeah, where were we? Yeah, Starry Night. Yeah, it was brought to New York, a big sold. But why it is a moving painting, an artwork, a great masterpiece for us. Van Gogh made it when he was in the countryside of France. He was in a hospital institution for his mental health. So that was actually a window view from his room in the institution. So I wouldn't say they picked the wrong piece of music for it, but certainly we are looking for more than a peaceful evening view with just moon and stars. We need something matched to Van Gogh's unstable mental health at the time, that we need something more wild and enchanting and yeah, on edge, something like that. Maybe we understand more after this quarantine, because in lockdown, we are the same as Van Gogh at the time. We were locked in our own room, and we see this view outside of our windows, that everything is so alive, but they were out there being vivid, and we are in the distance between the glass to them. So there is a longing to go outside, to be alive again, to feel what's the outside world normally. So we need a piece that match this kind of mindset to it. So yeah, I'm interested to know if you got anything match that in your mind. And then I talked about risk management. What? Oh yeah, for the screen. Yeah. First of all, like I said, they picked the soundtrack from Psycho, and in Psycho, well, spoiler alert, the woman got attacked in the bathroom and she got knifed, and that's why the music is mimicking the attack, like I said. But in Munch, this painting, this subject, this human figure, even though it's in that position, but it was not the scream. It's not from that subject. It's from the, how do you call that? It's called. It's from the environment. Screaming around this figure, like you hear the nature screaming in you. So that's a different direction for the sounds and music. And yeah, then they talk about what if we lost a really expensive painting. And so I said there's a very specific courses in museum study, and we call it risk management. It's to protect the collections, to protect artworks in museums, in organizations. And it's really, really detailed because we need to make forms to record all the infos of one artwork, and we need to keep track on every details of it. And different museums and in different countries, they have their own evaluation system for it. But most of the time we control the main things like physical damage, chemical damage, loss of information, like it's being stolen, so that part of the period of the time that it's outside organization, that information is lost on track. But that's important too. And we control the air, we control the light, we control the temperature, the humidity, past earthquakes. Well, earthquakes belong to physical damage. So like they said, a fire, I think it's very unlikely to happen because we need to take a risk management and control everything possible to protect very valuable things. Talking about risk management, if I remember it correctly, that the scream, it has different versions and collected in different museums and organizations, but it got stolen more than once, maybe 2-3 times from them. So that's terrible risk management work. And I was trying to find a word that it was, the screen is mirroring the inner anxiety in the subject, so that's resonating to the outside world. The next one, The Last Supper, of course. This one is in a convent in Milan. I was in Milan last winter. I was there by the door, but I couldn't get in because they only take reservations. And yeah, I was spoiled because I have the membership card, but then they said, yeah, only reservations. That's why I was there, but I couldn't see it. No more say to that. They did a great job. It's a religious piece, and Bach is good. Bach is always good. And then my point went to the Dutch Mona Lisa, so the measure with the pearl earrings, and it was by Vermeer, another Dutch master. And this one is even smaller than Mona Lisa, but unlike Mona Lisa, it was placed in a big hall in Louvre. This one is placed in a really small room with many other paintings in Mauritshuis in Den Haag. So even though it's smaller, you can feel more close to the painting. The two paintings are both small, but something can be surprisingly large, like the Night Watch. Some people think the Night Watch was not that large, even in this cut. But if you went to Rijksmuseum and in Amsterdam, you can see it's a really huge painting. And to give you a better idea to pick the music, the painting was in the Baroque era, so you can see some light contrast, like a stage spotlight kind of feeling on the figure, like it was waiting for drama. That's how we call it Baroque, how we define this art school. But on the other hand, Vermeer is so domestic and is so peaceful. I remember that he never have left Netherlands, and he himself was very mysterious in art history researches, and only 35, 34 something works that's under his name. So it would be nice to pick something that's more Flemish, more Dutch, and that's close to the aura of Vermeer's paintings. And then Rodin, it was placed in a very beautiful garden in now Musée Rodin in Paris. Yeah, I was there to see it. I remember it was originally one part of a really large commission, and it was designed, I think, to place really high, like it is now in the garden. It was on a really tall stand, and it should be viewed from above, lift your head. So we were looking for something that's spectacular, but I don't think the original name for this sculpture was the Thinker. I think it has something to do with Michelangelo's statue. It was called the Poet or something, so we can also do something more poetic, more sophisticated for the music. I got tired. The video is so long. They made a lot of effort for it. Okay, I'll be quick. Pollock, again, a modern American artist that I am not familiar with, but I would say the art of Pollock are compositions of randomness. That's all I can say. So it's free, it's random. The next one, Dali. Dali, the watch, like the famous time watch that in this painting, I remember he said it's a symbol of the relativity of space and time. But yeah, it's very interesting point because we call the visual art is the art of space and music is the art of time. So it's all wrapped up. And then suddenly we jump to Japanese wood block painting. And yeah, like they said, it's very close to Debussy. But I believe that Debussy saw the printing first and then maybe got inspired by it. That's how he composed the piece. Because at the time, Japanese woodblock printing, Japanese art were really influencing the art movements in France and influencing the Impressionism, Post-Impressionism that we know today. So even that Van Gogh Museum, they did the whole exhibition, putting together the art of Van Gogh and his influence by Japanese art. I can't remember how long that was ago, maybe 2 years ago they did that, and it was a collaboration with Tokyo Metropolitan Art Museum. Yeah, very interesting subject. And then Klimt. Yes, Gustav Klimt. He was Austrian, and the painting, The Kiss, it is still in Vienna, of course. It's an expensive one again, but it's expensive also by itself because all the golden thing you see on the image, that's the real gold leaf. He used gold, silver, platinum. He patched them on the canvas, so of course it's valuable on material and on art. Back to my comments. Like I said, for the art of curatorship, the art of curating exhibitions, music is included, and very often in my own experiences, many curators, they like to use multiple senses. It can activate different senses when you experiencing the art. So they use more than just visuals, more than just putting paintings there. I smell spices in museums, and I touches some cloth materials because it's the same cloth they use on the painting, on the figures costume or maybe carpets, and you can feel the same maybe velvet or cloth that it's in the painting. And sounds, of course, and music can also be individual objects involved in the exhibitions. To the end, yes, like I said, I don't think they are lacking knowledge of visual arts. They did a great job, and of course I enjoy watching this video like I did others of their contents, like as usual. And yeah, apparently they have great sense to bridge these two forms of art together, visual, musical. And because of that, I believe our appreciations of art are mutual. And yeah, there's a lot of artworks attributed to music and musicians. Like I said, they miss some fun parts they didn't picked for this video. I said Picasso and Matisse because they are painters but very interested in music. And there are some artworks that painted the figures of musicians. I think Young Flautists by Manet, Orchestra at the Opera by Degas, another main subject he did other than ballet. He painting a lot of orchestra. And what are they? Yes, a portrait of musician by Lippi, musicians figures by Caravaggio, and many painters and visual artists. They really into music, like Picasso and Matisse I said before, and I think Kandinsky, his abstract art influence from music flows. And Mondrian really like American music. I think I remember that. And who can play violin actually? Maybe Matisse is the one that can really that actually he played instruments, he played violin. Yeah, so I would really love to see Brad and Eddie talk about the arts that I just mentioned. And also, if you have an idea that the subject I was talking about that gave you inspiration, that you think about some music pieces that you would like to suggest, or if you have any questions for me, anything you would like to hear my thoughts about it, yeah, just leave a comment. I would certainly check them out. So that's all. I'm not a great presenter. I'm not really good at talking, so thank you for bearing with me.